All right, our first phonetics notes for the school year is going to be looking at what are called careful letters. So hopefully we remember that the French tend to use letters as a kind of decoration at the end of words. A lot of the times our letters that pop up at the end of a word don't get pronounced. There are 4 letters that we will always pronounce at the end of a word. Those letters are C, R, F, and L. So the letters are often called the careful letters for 2 reasons. Whenever you see them, you have to be careful to pronounce them. So these are the only 4 letters out of the entire alphabet that we pronounce. So habitually we tend to skip over these. These are the only exceptions to that rule. It also helps us remember which letters it is that we have to pronounce because C, R, F, and L are all the consonants in the word careful. If you take out the vowels, A, E, U, the 4 letters that you have left are, in fact, the 4 letters that we pronounce, C, R, F, and L. Any letter at the end of a French word that is not a careful letter should therefore be ignored and not pronounced. Okay, so it's a little more complicated than that. If a letter pops up at the end of a French word and it's not a careful letter, but it's being pronounced in combination with another letter in front of it, so such as that EZ combination that we saw when we looked at avoir, or if it's a nasal, such as on the end of copain, we have the AIN, all gets pronounced together as one big nasal. Whatever combination you have is the pronunciation that you make. So let's get a little bit of practice with this. So, just to yourself, how would you pronounce the word for sister? So R is a careful letter, so we have to say it. So we're going to pronounce this sœur. You can hear the R when I say it, sœur. How about this? We have nous. You should have said nous avons. S is not a careful letter. Yes, it does liaison on occasion, but that's highly dependent on the context of the sentence. As a single word all by itself, it's avons. S is not a careful letter. It's not a combination with anything, therefore we ignore it. Avons. How about this one? Vous. The correct pronunciation is vous avez. So Z is not a careful letter. It's not avez. That's not a possibility. But Z is a combination with EZ, so it's not of either. We have to pronounce that EZ combination, ave. How about this? Tu. It's tu as. Again, just like nous avons, we don't have any kind of context for this. We're not going to worry about liaison. S is not a careful letter, therefore we ignore it. Tu as. Oh, here's a good one. So our plural for they, a group of girls. Yes, it really is still pronounced L. There is no pronunciation difference, again, except in the case of liaison, between the singular and the plural. She, elle, they, L. S is not a careful letter. It does not get pronounced normally. All right, here's another good one. How about this particular word for a friend? The correct pronunciation is copain. So in is not a careful letter. However, AIN is a somewhat common nasal combination. So we're going to combine all of those letters together and pronounce that one single nasal. Copain. Yes, we hear a little bit of the N despite the fact it's not a despite the fact it's not a careful letter, but it's because of the combination. If that wasn't a nasal, then we wouldn't pronounce it, and it would be something along the lines of gopay.